Good evening. This is Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo. I'll be net control for this evening's Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club Tech Net. Looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check into tonight's Tech Net, please call now.
This is Alpha Echo Zero Golf Mike, George and Berthoud.
Hey, good evening, George. How are you doing today?
Doing all right. I mean, the faucet started to leak and we had to call a plumber, but it's all taken care of now.
Yeah, that's never good. Glad to hear you got it taken care of, though. That could have led to a big mess. Thank you for checking in. Anyone else want to check in for tonight's Tech Net? Please call now.
Kilo Echo Zero Yankee Mike Juliet, Ron in Windsor.
Evening, Ron. How are you doing today?
Healthy, all the well.
Yeah, at least there's nice weather out there. Thank you for checking in. Anyone else?
Kilo Delta Zero Tango Yankee Uniform, Joe here in Loveland.
Evening, Joe. How are you doing today?
Oh, just really, really good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Been getting a lot of yard work done. Seems I not supposed to go anywhere, so I've just been enjoying the weather outside.
Yeah, I still got 74 degrees. Not bad.
Yeah, definitely not bad at all. It's supposed to be like they're saying low to mid 70s all week, last I seen, so I should be able to get quite a bit done this week. And then when I start putting up antenna masts and that, the wife won't get mad at me. At least the yard will be cleaned up by then. Good, thank you for checking in. Anyone else want to check in? Call now.
TJ in Windsor.
Fort Collins.
Okay, we had a double there. Was able to pick TJ and Windsor out of there. Can you please come back with your call sign?
K0TNP, Kilo Zero Tango November Papa.
Yeah, got you that time. How are you doing this evening, TJ?
Just enjoying the weather, doing a little bit of work, and glad to be attending the Tech Net, which is kind of rare, and looking forward to this Wednesday's class as well.
Yeah, definitely. I know I'm on deck to finish the slides that I have for the class on Wednesday, so it should be good. Thank you for checking in. Doubling station. Please try again.
Kilo Zero Alpha Romeo Delta. This is Ann in Fort Collins.
Hey, good evening, Ann. How are you doing today? Thank you for checking in. This is Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo Net Control for this evening's NCARC Tech Net looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check into tonight's Tech Net, please call now.
Kilo Echo Zero Uniform Javelin.
Hey, I had some static there. I was able to get Kilo Echo Zero and then a Yankee and then Jeff. Try again.
Kilo Echo Zero Yankee Uniform.
Okay, I got you that time. That's Kilo Echo Zero Yankee Uniform. Thank you for checking in. Anyone else want to check in? Please call now.
Good evening, November 0 Echo Mike Papa, Greg in Fort Collins with Debbie, K0DBE.
Good evening, Greg and Debbie. How are you guys doing this evening?
We're both doing good.
Glad to hear you guys are doing good. Hopefully you're getting out of your house and enjoying some weather out there. Thank you for checking in. Anyone else want to check in? Call now.
This is Whiskey Zero Alpha Sierra Papa, Terry in Berthoud.
Hey, good evening, Terry. How are you doing today?
A little bit beat up from working the milling machine all day long. That's real hard work.
Oh yeah, it's are you referring to a milling machine as far as asphalt milling and stuff like that, or a actual machine inside a shop for milling material?
The milling machine for milling steel and aluminum.
Yeah, that can definitely be a lot of work and sometimes tedious work.
Very repetitive. W0ASD back to net.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for checking in. Anyone else want to check in? Call now.
Alpha Delta Zero Kilo India 80 KI. Luke in Fort Collins.
Evening, Luke. How are you doing today?
Not too bad, thanks. Just finished up supper and just sat down here at the radio and computer here. Gonna work some JS8 while listening to the net here this evening. So that's about it.
A little bit of multitasking, but thank you for checking in. One last round. This is Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo. Net control for this evening's Tech Net looking for check-ins. Anyone wanting to check in, please call now.
Alpha Echo Zero, Charlie Foxtrot. That's Fort Collins.
Hey, good evening, Ben. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Easier for you.
Well, doing okay is better than not doing good at all. But thank you for checking in. We'll get started. We'll take check-ins anytime during the net for those that haven't checked in or those that want to check in late. Anyone have any questions they would like to ask the net? Please call now.
N0 EMP.
Yankee
Juliet, with a question.
Hey, had a double there. I did get both of you out of there. Had Ron and Greg both with a question. We'll start with Ron. Go ahead with your question.
Not in depth technical, but you guys have talked a couple of times about a repeater at Rattlesnake. I'm curious exactly where Rattlesnake is.
Hey, Greg, you want to go ahead and answer that? Seems how it is your property that Rattlesnake is on.
Yeah, that's on a mountain peak. It's an unnamed mountain, although there's a feature on it that some of the locals call Eagle Rock, and it's actually on the Wrist Canyon Fire maps. But we have a 50-acre property northeast of Fort Collins, pretty much straight east of Vine Avenue, I think it is. Or straight west, rather, of Vine Avenue. It's northwest of Fort Collins, not northeast. So it's a few miles northwest of the North Dam on Horsdetooth at 7,500 feet. And we have solar power up there. The club has a installation up there, which is going to be expanded soon now that the snow's melted. It's primarily voting receivers. We don't have any full repeaters up there yet, and when we do, they'll be for emergency use if a primary repeater like Horsdetooth fails. But for power reasons and for noise reasons, the receivers up there work much better when there are not any transmitters nearby. It's a very quiet site. So we'll be putting voting receivers up there, and right now there's a voting receiver for the 115 repeater up there, and 0 EMP.
Yeah, give you a little bit of an explanation what you're looking for, Ron.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Greg. Wasn't really even sure which direction it was, although I figured it was probably off west of the hill somewhere, just for altitude. So, yeah, thanks for that. Very helpful.
Yeah, it's above Wrist Canyon at the top of Whale Rock Road, or just south of the top of Whale Rock Road, where it goes over the top of the ridge and back down the other side towards Davis Ranch.
Yeah, thank you for that description, Greg. You want to go ahead with your question?
So I have a Kenwood D710GA, I think it is, but it's a D710 in my vehicle. Mike Hickerson programmed in his code plug, which appears to be a very extensive code plug. The problem is he did not have any kind of an index or spreadsheet or card catalog of what was in his code plug. He used a Windows laptop and RT Systems software and a RT Systems cable to shoot the code plug into the radio. I don't use Windows operating system. I don't have that RT Systems cable or the RT Systems software for that radio. I got a file copy of his code plug thinking I could just look at it in Linux and read it. That's not the case. It's proprietary. I tried reading the radio with Chirp using a RT Systems cable for a different radio. That did not work.
So, let me reset this. I'm looking for someone that can either read out my radio with chirp and give me a file I can read and I can turn into a spreadsheet, or I'm looking for someone with RT System software that can do the same thing, or someone that uses Windows and has RT System software that can read the file that I have saved on my computer and on my phone and generate a spreadsheet off of that, or show me how to.
Yeah, definitely a good question. And the one downfall with the RT systems is, well, they do give you options for the software for Windows, Mac, and other stuff. It's proprietary to whatever version you have. However, I do happen to have a Kenwood D710G, the RT system software, and Windows operating system. If you want to send me the file, I can convert it to a CSV file for you, or do any way you want. Like I said, I have it on both my laptop and my desktop, so I can do it portable or in my shack.
Cool. Like I said, I have the file itself. If I did in fact copy the right thing from Mike, but I think I did. So I have the file. I'll email it to you. Thanks very much, N0EMP.
Yeah, definitely. No problem there. That's not much when you have all the software that was used. Definitely makes it easier. But if the file is the incorrect one, you can always plug a cable into the radio and download it direct from the radio. But we'll try the file first. Anyone else have any questions or comments for the net?
KD02YU.
KD02IU, Joe, go ahead.
You bring up a good point, but I've had people argue this point with me too about the RT Systems cables. I have always thought they have been pretty much proprietary to their software, and somebody told me no, they could run it with everything, and I've just never had that kind of luck. Have you?
Some of their cables are not proprietary. Like with Yaesu, with their FTM 400, you can use the SCU20 cable that comes with the radio for programming. You do not have to buy the one from RT System. When you get to like some of Yaesu HTs, the FT2 and the FT70 and the VX6, all of them you have to use RT Systems cable. The cable that comes with them does not work. Kenwood, the D710, you have to use the cable with the RT Systems. The one that comes with the radio does not work. They're wired different. One is a data, one is a USB type configuration. That's what my experience has been. Majority of them you have to use the RT Systems cable. There are select few radios that you don't.
Well, that answers my question. And apparently, I have had pretty much the proprietary type that's at the 71A and the 710 do use the same cable. However, I do not have the software, so you're better off.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's the only two radios I've come across where the cable that comes with the radio works is the Yaesu. Both of them are Yaesu's. The FTM 400 and then the FT 991. You can use the cable that comes with the radio, but other than that, it has to be the RT system for every other radio that I've programmed or have.
I guess I do have another question. Does anybody know where we're at on the solar cycle? For ASP, we're still at the bottom.
We've had one little baby sunspot of the new cycle 25. It burst out a roughly B2 flare. Next to nothing. Like Terry said, we're at the bottom. Don't get 0 LED.
What's the prediction for, what is the prediction, for this, when is it going to start coming up?
Well, we'd all like to know when CB19 is going to go away. I'm predicting we're going to be here another year. And I don't, Terry, you've probably got the figures.
Joe, the sunspot prediction is a very highly political equation or process. They make one prediction at the beginning of the near the peak of the solar cycle for the next solar cycle, and they don't change it based on data. So the prediction they have now is for a very low sunspot cycle to be peaking in about 6 years, I think, something like that. I forget the exact date. I have to look it up, but it's supposed to be a very low cycle and a very slow ramp up, and it's been slower than predicted. So they don't change their predictions.
Yeah, that goes in line with what I heard recently was another 5 to 6 years before it'll start peak again. But on a positive note, I did have a couple 10-meter contacts the other day that were not local. Had one that was actually in the eastern side of Kansas.
It is getting to be sporadic east season, so you can probably pick up some 10-meter and maybe even some 2-meter sporadic east propagation.
Yeah, that's what I figure. I've been switching back and forth between the bands over the past couple weeks. I haven't had much else to do, so just playing with the radio, trying different bands and different things and seeing what's working and what isn't. But I thought it was interesting. Since I've had my license, the first contact I've had on 10 meter that was not local. I've had quite a few local that were ground wave propagation, nothing skywave. So it was nice and interesting for a first time.
I have to admit, I have never done 10. But with a sporadic E, would 6 meters be in? Oh, just about anything below 100 megahertz.
Yeah, in 6 meter, Joe, I've had contacts on 6 meter over the past 6 months. pretty regularly. Usually mid-morning, you'll start picking stuff up on the band, usually around like 9:30, and last for an hour or two, where I've had contacts all the way to the East Coast from here. Station calling, try again. Had a lot of static in there. I was not able to get any of that. I could hear a voice in the static, but that's it. I don't know if you can try bumping power up a little bit or moving your antenna or anything. You're not quite making it to the repeater. Anyone else have any comments or questions? Please call now.
I guess since there's a lull, I do have one somewhat announcement.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I'm looking over your Nano VNA presentation. It looks really, really good. Anyway, I just thought I'd let everybody know that the club meeting for the 18th has not been canceled. However, it's going to be done through Zoom, teleconferencing. If you have not got your letter from Darren, send him a note at treasure@ncarc.net, I believe it is, and tell him you'd like to join that thing for the. We're going to start about 8:30. Probably won't start talking and doing a presentation till 9. But anyway, anybody who wants to do it, this is a very good presentation on nano DNA. Thank you very much for doing that.
Yeah, definitely, and you're welcome. I figure with it being the first one, a lot of beginners and a lot of people not really knowing what the VNA is, and figured I'd gear it towards what majority of ham radio operators would be using it for, and then learning from there on more capabilities with it.
Your ASP with an update on the solar cycle.
Terry, go ahead.
Said they don't often update the prediction, but they actually did release a new prediction back at the beginning of December of last year for the upcoming solar cycle number 25. The peak is expected to be in July 2025, plus or minus about 8 months. And the peak is expected to be at a sunspot number of about 115 plus or minus 10. So a very low cycle.
Yeah, thank you for that update, Terry. Yeah, hopefully it. Well, we can always look at the bands can't really get any worse than they are now. So if you're able to make contacts now, in a few years, you'll be able to make them even better. This is Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo Net Control for this evening's Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club Tech Net. One last round and we'll move on. If anyone has any questions or comments for the net, please call now.
Oh, I will jump in and ask a technical question. And the experts are barred from contributing. However, if all else ends in a total no-no, the experts can chime in. The question is, and again, this is for the non-experts, what's the definition of resonance? Be it an antenna, a lumped element circuit. What determines resonance? W0 LEV.
Definitely a good question there, Dave, and I know there's a few people on this evening that are taking the general class. Any one of them want to try giving it a shot? Remember, there is no, well, there is a wrong answer, but it all goes towards learning. Anyone want to give it a try?
There is no wrong answer. Come on, guys and gals. What's resonance?
KE0YMJ, I'll give it a try.
YMJ, Ron, go ahead.
So if you're looking at an antenna, the frequency that it resonates at is the one at which you drive a signal in the end, and it's going to reflect back. It's going to propagate down to the end and reflect back in a wavelength such that you don't get any sort of, for lack of a better word, drive light from that reflection versus the signal that you're driving in.
Well, okay. The kernel of the answer is in what you stated, but that's not the real basic answer. Why is the reflected energy, the oscillating energy, in phase with that energy being fed at the current feed point of the dipole? The kernel of the answer is there, but that's not the real answer.
GM?
Oh, but you're an expert.
I didn't think so, but I'll accept the praise.
You better. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that in a circuit, the reactance, the capacitive reactance and the inductance have the same value at some frequency, and that's the resonant condition.
Correct answer. Yay! The inductive reactance equals the capacitive reactance. Usually we tag the capacitive reactance with a minus sign and the inductive reactance with a plus sign. But when something is in resonance, plus Jx equals minus Jx, and all that's left in terms of an antenna is the radiation resistance and the real loss resistance. Correct answer. W0 LEV. I hope somebody learned something.
And the last I heard is that the radiation resistance needs to be high for maximum efficiency.
Not necessarily high, but if the radiation resistance is a whole bunch more than the DC loss resistance in the conductors, better yet. And we could go into a whole discussion on antennas in that respect. Typically, we aim for 50 ohms because that's what all our feed lines are. Well, most of them, if you use coax. I don't. I use open wire. That's another story. But just stick with the one kernel of knowledge. Resonance is defined where plus Jx equals minus Jx. The inductive reactance equals the capacitive reactance, and of course the cancel. Okay, next week we might have a review. W0LEV, back to net.
And a 0 EMP, a follow-on question to that.
Okay, thank you for the question, LEV. Greg, go ahead with your follow-up.
Yeah, if I put up let's keep it simple and say I put up a dipole, cut for some HF frequency, and I'm using it for receive. All other things being equal, if I'm using it right at its resonant frequency, is there a power increase at my receiver terminals based on the waves going back and forth in the antenna, and if it's in resonance, will there be a resonant rise effect where one wave will build on the other and give you a higher power output, or does it just simply come down to matching and loss?
Well, since I asked the question, I guess I got to answer. There is such a thing as resonant excitation, and that's what we're speaking of if you use it as a receive antenna only, although the analog applies for sourcing energy from the transmitter up to the dipole. For instance, when you strike a bell, you cause it to ring. It rings at its characteristic frequency, its resonant frequency, and harmonics and overtones thereof. A bell is probably a very bad example because there are many, many, many harmonics and overtones. That's characteristic sound of a bell or chime. But yes, as you go through resonance, there will be a rise in power capture. Off resonance, for instance, if you move double the frequency off, call it anti-resonance if you will, that's where it will be a high impedance. Yeah, you go through a minimum of power transfer or the power capture by the antenna. Let's see if I can think of, well, an organ pipe, a pan flute, a guitar string, violin string, the cavity formed between your lips and the valves on a trumpet all produce resonant cavities. The reason they sound the tone they do is because they're resonant. If you try and produce with your lips something other than what the cavity resonates at, in the case of a trumpet, you're going to get, well, you won't get much energy out the bell. Yes, you will capture more energy at resonance.
I guess the effect I'm looking for, an analogy would be a tuning fork, where a tuning fork that's not vibrating will begin to vibrate at its resonant frequency if you excite it with sound at its resonant frequency. Using that tuning fork as a model for your antenna or an analog for your antenna, will a receive antenna do the same thing at its resonant frequency and give you a kind of a peak in its response at resonance?
Yeah, tuning fork is a good analogy, and I think in every physics teacher, high school physics teacher's back room, there are a couple of tuning forks, coupled by an acoustic cavity, just acoustic waves. And you excite one of its resonant frequency. If the one that's coupled to it through acoustic waves is of the same frequency, it too will ring. If it's not the same, the secondary tuning fork will not ring. Yeah, it's a good example.
Okay, thanks, M0EMP.
Yeah, I'll throw.
0ASP comment?
Like myself, I don't use an antenna for HF that's resonant on, frankly, any of the HF bands allocated to amateurs. However, I do manage to keep the transmitters happy with an L network, antenna matching network, not an antenna tuner, please. But somewhere in the structure of the wires out there, there is a resonance. Mine happens to be the lowest half-wave resonance is roughly 950 kilohertz, middle of the AM broadcast band. Doesn't mean it doesn't work anywhere else. It actually works quite well. And somewhere along those wires, a resonant condition or several resonant conditions will be set up. So you don't have to have a resonant antenna to receive and radiate RF energy. However, you do have to keep the transmitters happy by supplying what they're designed for, 50 plus minus J0 ohms, W0 LED.
Thank you for that. We did have a double in there with you, Dave. Terry, go ahead.
Thanks. I don't think an antenna picks up any more energy from the free space because it's resonant. I think the reason why you get an increase in received power at resonance is because the antenna impedance is matching your receiver input impedance, and you get maximum power transfer down the transmission line when you have the matched impedance case, just like in transmission. That's why when you're tuning an antenna, you tune for maximum noise on receive before you transmit, and that's not because the antenna is picking up any more energy at resonance. It's delivering it to the receiver better at resonance. W0ASP, back to that.
Comment.
Yeah, comment, go ahead.
Yeah, this LED again. You're correct there, Terry, but at resonance, for instance, if you excited the field around the antenna from far field with white noise, and the antenna somehow, mysteriously, magically, is matched, no matter where you're receiving, you will see an increase at the half-wave resonance point in 3 halves, 5 halves, 7 halves on out. For instance, my antenna doesn't resonate anywhere in the ham bands. Well, 630 meters through 6 meters. But the antenna matching network, in my case an L network, homebrew of course, establishes a match between whatever the antenna source is, comes down the transmission line and hits the antenna matching network. The output that feeds the radios is adjusted for 50 ohms. If that were the case, excited with white noise, I think you'd see a peak every half-wave resonance and odd multiples there on up.
Oh, Dave, do you see such a thing?
Do I watch such a thing? I didn't get that, Terry.
That's an effect of broadband noise having peaks at the resonant frequencies that's not attributable to increased power delivery to the receiver.
No, but acoustically, Basically, if you sweep something that has sharp resonances, you will excite those resonances, I think, just like you do an antenna.
I think the audio analog, like a tuning fork, I think that analogy fails.
Okay, I will pose another question for Terry. If I sweep a parallel tuned LC circuit, why do I, and I loosely couple it to an inductor into a spectrum analyzer or scope, why do I see an increase, a rather drastic increase, at the resonant frequency of the LC network as I sweep it?
Non-resonant antenna has a very high impedance, and the current can't flow from the antenna into the receiver.
Yeah, true. But I take that high impedance as delivered through the feed line through the matching network to come out with 50 ohms to feed the radios. So I think that argument is not valid when you consider the antenna matching network.
Possibly not, because with the matching network you still have a high standing wave ratio between the antenna and the input of the matching unit.
Well, the input of the matching network should see the complex conjugate of what the feed line delivers from the antenna. The output, and I'm going from the antenna to the receiver, other way around to the transmitter, the output is 50 ohm plus minus J0. But yes, there can be severe standing waves with this type of antenna. That's why I use open wire feed.
Antenna modeling, and you look at effective lengths or effective areas of dipoles, they don't show any preference for the resonant frequencies.
Then why does an LC circuit show preference for the resonant frequency and odd harmonics thereof?
Meaning is it's power transfer to the load.
Yeah, okay. We need a whiteboard to continue this. Okay, but this type of antenna that I use for HF is used to be kind of sort of a standard before coax came along, and you had to dictate something close to 50 ohms at the antenna feed point. Again, that's the reason I use open wire, low loss, tolerate all kinds of swerve. Generally don't have to worry. Doesn't even arc with 1.5 kW. But I take the standing waves, some R plus minus JX, and if I look over at my measured impedances, and I can't read the charts from here, but I think from 160 through roughly 10 meters, most of the reflection coefficient, most of that is on the inductive side of the chart. Yeah, it probably tends more toward the high impedance side, the right side of the Smith chart. But it's not necessarily a high impedance everywhere, because it does exhibit resonances, just not ham bands.
Look at your antennas where you use an active preamp with a high impedance at the feed points, and my guess is you're not going to see those resonances in that receiving configuration.
Oh, again, I go back to my resonant LC circuit, which in a lumped manner can kind of sort of represent a non-radiative antenna. What we do with the energy, I don't know. Gets dissipated in the losses of the LC network, I guess. but I'm just loosely coupling in and out of the network. As a matter of fact, I used that technique here recently to measure the resonant frequency. Well, actually, I knew the capacitor to measure the inductance of the inductor I had to insert for 630 meters. And indeed, as it sweeps, you do indeed see a very good increase in transferred power across the two coils. So I should have commented, I coupled in and out of the resonant circuit with an inductor on each end. Anyhow, this is getting way beyond my original question, and I really, really didn't want to go into antenna theory, because that's, I think, a bit beyond, at present, beyond what the Tech Net wants to handle. My real push to ask the original question was just to teach what resonance really is and what it isn't. W0LEV.
Get a little complicated to understand without schematic diagrams. W0ASC back to net.
Yep, we both need a whiteboard. Resonant excitation, which we all did in mechanics in college.
Yeah, this is Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo Net Control for this evening's NCARC Tech Net. Yeah, definitely an interesting topic and question. It's definitely hard. Was getting harder for a lot of people to follow along and understand without descriptions and diagrams present. I mean, there's definitely any topic is open for discussion during the Tech Net, not limited. Just have to keep in mind what a lot of people are able to comprehend and understand without seeing the description or a schematic involved with it. But thank you for the great discussion. Anyone else have any questions or comments they would like to share with the net? Call now.
N0BF.
N0BF, go ahead.
I really have a question, but I enjoyed I tuned in about halfway through the discussion there, but anyway, I just want to check in, make sure my antenna's reaching. I'm using a loop here sideways into your repeater. So anyway, thanks for checking me in. Name is Stephen Loveland, and like I said, I'm enjoying the conversation.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for checking in. As a reminder for everyone, all of our Tech Nets are streamed on YouTube, so you can always go to our YouTube channel and review and go back over the topic that was discussed. If you want to listen to something again, that's always an option. Good, thank you for that. Anyone else have any questions or comments or late check-ins? Call now.
Kilo Charlie 8, Hotel Charlie Foxtrot, mobile with a late check-in in Louisville, Colorado.
Hey, got you in there. Thank you for checking in. Do one last round of questions or check-ins or comments. Call now.
What's the question?
I didn't catch the call sign, but go ahead with your question.
Yes, this is George Worthing. The question is there a makerspace in Loveland is speaking machines.
I do not know. Anyone else have any input?
N0MP, there was a makerspace downtown, south end of downtown, Main Street. That I haven't been there for a year, so I don't know if they're still open or what they're doing or what they have.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'd like to thank everyone for checking in this evening and the great discussion we had on the multiple topics. The reminder, Wednesday evening is the NCARC Club Net at 6:30 with early check-in starting at 6 p.m. I look forward to hearing from everyone again next week for the Tech Net. I hope everyone has a good evening and stay safe. This is Kilo Alpha 6 Echo Tango Echo closing the Tech Net, and the repeater is now open for general use. 7-3, and have a good evening.